think about this. What about this? What about this analysis from old Frankie? Think about, we just watched a Super Bowl, right? Yes, Frankie, it was of course. And who won? Well, the Seattle Seachickens won, and they beat the New England schedules over there. Well, how did the Seattle Seahawks build their teams over the years? John Schneider's getting all this credit, as he should, for how he's built his teams. Well, think about it. The quarterback position for them. They spent no top premier draft capital on the quarterback position. All these years, Russell Wilson was a third-round pick. And they had Matt Flynn. They signed him to a big contract. Russell Wilson outperforms him. And then he takes control over all those years. Then they get tired of his ass. They trade him for a lot of picks and players. Great trade. And then what did they do? They had Geno Smith there as a free agent acquisition sitting behind Geno. Then he comes in for a few games, looks good enough, and then they go, all right, let's go with Geno. And they go with Geno for a few years. And they back him up with Drew Lock and such. And then they get tired of his ass, and they go get Sammy Darnold. And so all those years, they have not had to use any premium draft capital on these quarterbacks. And that screws up, because if you do that and then the quarterback isn't any good, you screw up your whole team for years and years, because you then don't get the premium talent that you otherwise would. It's opportunity cost. Nobody ever talks about opportunity cost in all this commentary. And so they were able to just stack up all these players, especially on defense. That's why that defense is so amazing. They just kept adding and adding and adding, and they didn't have to worry about quarterback because they went the free agent route or the third-round quarterback route. And so why don't we do that? Why don't we go ahead and do that? Now you got to pray that the free agent works out. We did have one use case where that worked for a year anyway, Fitzpatrick in 2015. Almost got to the playoffs, just missed it. But maybe that's a situation here. And it's Carr or Cousins. That's the ones that I would make a play for. And then you don't, now you could take a Drew Aller in the 5th round if you want. Put him on the roster. Maybe he develops and you get lucky, or you sign somebody like a Sam Howell and hope maybe he figures something out and all that kind of thing. But those are not. But in the meantime, you just draft premium talent with your premium picks. Whether it be the wide receiver or the defense, and that's how you build the team up. That's at least one way, especially because we've been trying in this draft for a long time, and every time it's a strikeout. Whether it be Sanchez or Christian Hackenberg or Bryce Petty or Geno Smith or Darnold or Zach Wilson. It's a lot of strikeouts. Now, of course, Sanchez had some success early on, but then he fizzled out pretty quickly. He had team success. He wasn't good, but the team was. So there was that, but still not a franchise quarterback, obviously. And so maybe this is the way. Maybe this is the way. You just make the case to the top free agents. This is the place for you. We got the best combination of money we can give you, opportunity. There's no one going to be nipping at your heels here. The job is yours, and we got a pretty decent roster on the offensive side right now, and we'll obviously add to it in free agency in the draft. And the defense will figure out along the way. We got to just basically add as much talent as possible to that defense. It was talent depleted last year, and so maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way.